We are on our way to Klutch Kickers. Finally, tomorrow is qualifying. No, tomorrow's practice. Tomorrow's Friday. And today we spent the day getting the car ready. Finally got a car wash. It's looking as good as it can with the body damage that it's got. We fixed the fuel system, put a new fuel pump in it, fixed the fuel pressure regulator, cleaned out the filters, and our fuel pressure is back to exactly what it needs to be. The boost is turned up as high as it can go with the injectors that we have. With 75% ethanol, our injectors are like 85 to 90% duty cycles, so we're pushing the limits of what it can handle, but it is fast. That car is so fast. So I'm feeling really good about where the car is right now. I'm feeling really good about where my comfort level is with that car, and I'm feeling really good about the track that we're driving at, because I have driven there once on the drift week where we stopped at Freedom Factory, and I was able to do the bank. And literally my first lap on that track in my Icon car, I was up on the bank touching the wall with like no practice. So now that I'm actually in a situation where I have some practice time, I'm in a car where I'm comfortable, and we have the tires and the power to get up on the wall. This car is definitely faster than my Icon car, which I have tons and tons and tons of seat time in. It feels really similar. So I'm feeling confident, feeling very, very confident coming into Klutch Kickers. Now let's talk about a little bit about Klutch Kickers. Originally, I was planning on taking my Pro car to Klutch Kickers. Well, back up a little bit more. I was originally planning on technical issues. Hold, please. Originally, I was planning on taking the Klutch Kickers car, which is the car that I call the budget build car, which I built specifically to take to Klutch Kickers, but then took it to Drift Week before Klutch Kickers, right? And then decided, once they changed the track from Emerald Coast to Freedom Factory, which was after I finished building the car, I decided, well, maybe I would be better off taking my Pro car, the one I used in Formula D years ago, bring that back to life and take that car that has more horsepower, more suspension tuning and stuff done to it, and take that car to Klutch Kickers to have the best possibility of winning the series. So that was my main focus, and we ran out of time trying to get everything else ready for Drift Week, which was last week, right before Klutch Kickers. And so we ended up taking the budget build Klutch Kickers car on Drift Week, and also now we're taking that car to Klutch Kickers, which it was originally built for, but then I changed my mind, but now we're back to that. So the Klutch Kickers budget build car is now competing at Klutch Kickers at a different track than it was originally built for. One of the issues that I am worried about is if the gear ratios are not correct or not right on for the bank or for the rest of the track. I have a CD009 transmission with a 3.69 J30 rear diff, not J30, what's it called? Q45 rear diff. That diff and 350Z axles. The diff and axle combo should be very, very strong. It should handle the power and the load on it. But I don't know if the gear ratio is going to be ideal for this track. So that's one concern that I have. Other than that, I feel like everything else is pretty well dialed. The suspension's dialed. The car has a lot of grip. We raised the ride height so the car has a good amount of suspension travel, which allows it to hook up. It handles really well. I'm running for the first time in my life no sway bars front or rear, and I really like the way the car feels. It feels like it really digs in. It moves around a lot. And I am super excited about that. I'm super happy with how the car is right now. And that puts me on a super high level of confidence coming into this round of Klutch Kickers. I think I've talked about this before, but my purpose and my goal in going to Klutch Kickers this year is to win. And I'm not a person that's like super competitive or always driven to win, but for some reason this year I'm like on this mission to do really well. And by doing really well, I mean I want to be on the podium, and at the end of the year, at the end of the season, I want to be the winner. That's what I want. So that's my goal. I'm trying everything I can to get there. As far as my confidence, my skill level of the car, and all that stuff. I've spent a bunch of money on tires this time. I'm gonna use all brand new tires after practice, and I'm gonna get everything dialed as best I can to be on the podium. Now, last year, I did well at a few rounds. Obviously, I ended up third at one round, which was a good showing, right? and that kind of gave me a boost of confidence in doing well in the future. But aside from that, the times that I didn't have a podium, I had some very, 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 very good battles that brought me a lot of confidence as well. And sometimes that happens. You don't end up on top, but you still have some battles that show you that you've got fight and you're in the right spot, competing at that level. And so I'm feeling confident about that. And that's about it. I'm really excited, really happy to be doing Klutch Kickers. I'm putting all my focus of this season competitively to compete in the Klutch Kickers series. I'm super happy that Klutch Kickers is still hosting an event, and that they've worked it out at a track that is even further from my house. But I think it's going to be a great track to drive at. I think it's going to allow a little bit more. It's going to allow cars that have more power to stretch their legs. I don't know any other way to put that. It's great to have an equalizer track, but I also feel like a series that has this kind of money on the line should allow a little bit more power and speed and stuff like that. That may not be a popular opinion, but I know there's some guys that are going to agree with me on that one, and that's kind of how I feel. I'm not bringing the most powerful weapon to this battle, but I think the car that I'm bringing is going to allow me to be able to keep up with the fast cars and also be able to follow the slow cars, which is an important thing to remember. If you have one of the fastest, most gripped up cars and you get put up against AE86 or like a 350Z with stock power, you're gonna struggle to follow that guy, and it may end up taking you out of the entire event just by not being able to adapt to different speed and skill levels of other drivers that you will have to compete with potentially in top 64 or top 32. As far as qualifying goes, I'm super confident and very, very good at driving on bank tracks. I don't know if that's something to brag about, but for some reason I just have really got that figured out, how to get up on the wall and ride the bank consistently. I did it well in Orlando, in FD. I did it well at Wall, New Jersey. I've done really well at Irwindale. And so I feel confident being on this bank track, and we're using one of the big oval banks for the first outer zone of this track. So I think that's going to play into in my favor as one of my strong suits. I think there's a lot of guys that probably are not as good at doing bank tracks, and there's going to be a lot of weight in on the judging side on how well you do on the banked oval. So I think that's going to allow me to do really well in qualifying and probably also in competition. So in that aspect, it gives me a little more confidence as well, because I feel like this layout is suited towards my skill, and I think that's all I've got to say. I'm just really excited. I'm going for first place. That's what I want. I've got that in my head, and I'm going for it. I don't know what to say. In the past, in other events and things like that, I haven't really strived to win. But that's where my head's at right now. So, anyways, I'm coming off a good high on Drift Week. I'm feeling really comfortable, like I said, with the car, with my driving, and I just really want to get behind the wheel and have a good weekend. So thank you guys for watching and following along with Drift Week. Now we're transitioning to Klutch Kickers. Thanks for watching this episode of Through the Wheel, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the vlog of day 1 practice at Klutch Kickers Round 1 2022. Thanks guys for watching. Goodbye.